Hi guys, I'm Brianna and I'm a sophomore in Wharton.
Hi guys, I'm Louis. I'm a junior in the college for communications.
Hello, I'm Liz. I'm a junior in college.
Hi, I'm Kenya. I'm a senior studying public health.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne. I'm a junior in the engineering college.
We're all Jamaican students at Penn and today we're going to be discussing dancehall.
Dancehall has been a part of building my confidence, but also a part of claiming my sexuality. So I remember when I was little, my mom used to force me to dance because I was a very shy kid, so she would force me for whack. And I think from the outside looking in, that might be oh my God, you're teaching children how to lie, but it was definitely about being able to sort of embrace my culture and recognize that I have control over my body and I can use it in a way that is fun and empowering.
Basically, I don't really have negative emotions when I'm listening to dancehall, so it's kind of my way of keep on pushing sometimes, as well as I was also really shy and I still am. So listening to dancehall music and dancing kind of really helps me to kind of escape and kind of be that open person that I would like to be.
It's a part of your culture that you can't escape because dancehall music is at every function that you go to where you just want people to enjoy yourself. So being able, I remember it was actually my brother who taught me, okay, if you're gonna go to parties and you're gonna enjoy yourself, you have to know how to use your waistline. And it was just kind of that moment where you first learned how to kind of rotate, and it was just whoa, this is
kind of. It was more of a connection thing, because wherever you go, you'll find a Jamaican somewhere, and I feel this is the one thing that you can always connect with the Jamaican with, just the music. And I grew up in New York City, so anywhere you go, there's always somebody blasting dancehall from a car or something. So it's always nice to have some sense of familiarity.
I think that dancehall really was part of me accepting who I was as a Jamaican who was born in America. For a long time, I really didn't even care about being Jamaican, which sounds crazy. But because I guess my parents or my immediate family didn't really introduce the culture to me other than food. But it was until my cousins who were close in age, they introduced me to Vibes and Elephant Man, all these people, and I was oh, this is who I am, and I'm okay, I like this, and that's how I just started looking into Jamaican culture for myself more than just what was being handed to me, and I finally was I can be Jamaican.
you see where it's a kind of an industry where it's very friendly to women being in charge, being in power, and being confident in themselves, and that translates into a lot of the culture because in Jamaican culture, even though there's always a man there somehow, your head of the household, if you're looking at the way your family set up, it's usually your mom is the one running things, or grandma or auntie. So it kind of reflects on the power dynamic that we have in our culture. So I think women are actually pretty well represented in dancehall, and I perceive it as just it's if you're a leading lady in dancehall, you're very strong, you're very independent, and you're very self-aware of who you are and what you stand for in the industry.
If you listen to the words closely, I'm don't know how I feel about these things, but I think the biggest difference between that dancehall and hip hop is when I look at the music videos even, it's sort of the dancers in hip hop tend to be sort of it's through a male gaze. It's about, we have women here because we just want you to look at booty cheeks, etc. Whereas I feel in dancehall music videos, the women are skilled dancers. This is because they can do something that not everyone can do, and it's sort of typically you'll see the women just by themselves, with large groups of women dancing and proving the ways in which they own their sexuality. And I feel that can be very powerful, even if the lyrics aren't always so respectful and friendly with women, even though those lyrics are more just explicit rather than derogatory.
One thing that I've said I always like about dancehall videos is the fact that the women are always different sizes, as well as like it's not one set type of woman that's in these videos. It's a range of women, whether it's size, color, even nationality, more so today, as well as the fact that like since dancehall became a genre, you've had these DHQs and like these women who have played very prominent roles in dancehall as well.
Looking at other genre music videos, like you will really see like a one size fits all like cookie cutter dancer in the background or whatever. But like you're right, like it's all different sizes, and I feel like that's important, and colors too. I feel like that's important.
The women feel realer. Like it feels like women you know, like people in your family or like people you would see at parties, rather than like IG models that you know you wouldn't ever really interact with on a daily basis.
Right. And like how they always have them in the forefront. So I feel like in the dancehall scene, like women are always like in the forefront, and men are almost an accessory to the video.
Hey, lock you up. My God. My God.
Oh! All right, Meg.
She's so what?
Oh no!
What?
No! Why is it?
No!
No! I also feel like that. Honestly, for me, it's a little bit extra, and it's not an accurate representation. Like, you're not gonna go to every single party and see that kind of behavior. It's only like, again, the players, like, if Marvin the Beast is there to perform, quote unquote perform, or Shelly Belly or somebody like that is there, then you're gonna probably see that, and that's more of just like a gimmick for people to watch. Okay, it's not like everybody's not jumping off of speaker boxes and climbing up on stuff like that. So it's more of like a niche, unique thing that because of media has made us to think that this is exactly how everybody behaves. But no, you're not about to trip me, put me on the floor, and then jump on me. I'm sorry, that's no red card. That's not playing.
Something that it makes me think of, going back to what you were saying about how like you use music to learn more about your Jamaicanness, was I feel like for me that I had that same process of being like, I'm gonna just watch like dancehall videos, and that's like how I'm gonna connect, because I'm here in America, I don't really interact with these kinds of things. And so then eventually, you know, you get to World Star and you're watching these videos and you're sort of presented this idea of like, this is what it means to go to a party in Jamaica. And so like, when you talk to non-Jamaican people, they're like, oh yeah, those parties are wild. And like, they're getting those same things, but it sort of felt uncomfortable because I'm like, I've never personally experienced this for myself, so I kind of just have to go along with this idea that you've been given and be like, yeah, I know they're crazy, right? But like knowing that like that was never truly my experience, and like that's not how I personally engage with dancehall.
The problem I have is, it's like when you cite it, it's like when you use a source but you don't cite it in your paper. You gotta give respect where respect is due. Don't try to claim the genre as your own. You are a visitor, respected as a visitor, and give the respect where respect is due. Don't try to like take this on as a motif and then kind of give even just to give a couple shout outs. Like for me, if Drake had left Popcorn on the original version, like, even though I'm very sure there are like business decisions that had to go in between to make sure that that happened, and that were probably like oversimplifying. But simple things like that, like if you come and we give you this great resource, like take care of the resource, attribute the resource properly, and then we can move on. Don't try to like make this your own.
One thing that like angered me with the whole Drake and Popcorn situation is Controller came out with Popcorn on the track, and it was basically like a half and half. Like if he put that on the album, it would have had to say featuring Popcorn. Like he didn't have to even say, oh, this is who this artist was or something. But like if people see that and hear it and they like it, then they can always look on the track and be like, oh, this is who I should go look up or something, rather than just a random name. Another problem with me for like artists like Drake or something is like when they try to come in, so like they try to adopt Jamaicanness. Right. So like say they try to speak patois or something, like Drake out here talking about unruly or whatever else.
Going off of that, it's like people are gonna have like this one view of what they think dancehall is because like credit isn't being given where it is due, and like if Popkin isn't there, then like how are they gonna know like who this is, where they, like, you know what I mean? Like it's a very like limited view they have now because it's Drake, of course, like most people know who Drake is and stuff, but like they're like, oh, that's dancehall, and like we're like
I think it's also about sort of not just including these artists, but like what do you do when other people are talking about it? Because I remember when like Views or More Life came out and they were like, there's dancehall on there. So I was like, okay, I googled. I was like, what song on this album is dancehall? And it was like Passion Fruit, and I was like, this is not dancehall. So it's sort of like you have a responsibility if you're going to include our music in the conversation to stand up for our music. Because the fact that the only people who are actually talking about the dancehall influence are Jamaican artists is a problem. Why is Popcorn supporting this more than you have? Why is Popcorn speaking for you when you're saying nothing? And then you leave Popcorn in the dust. Like, that's not fair.
The music industry is so much more than the American domestic market. Like, because like people were, especially in that Spice and Tommy situation, because when you were reading the comments, people were like, a lot of people were like, who is Spice? And I'm like, Spice is a very well-known, very well-accomplished international artist. Like, for us, especially as international, we're like, who is Tommy? Like, I've never heard a Tommy song before, but I bet you Spice songs are getting played in the Caribbean, in Europe, in Asia, Australia, South America, like, and parts of Canada as well. So it's like, so like, this is actually the last market that Spice has to conquer, and the fact that she was able to come in such an albeit a messy way, but the fact that she has now established a name for herself, she has pretty much has a global, like, she's conquered globally.
I also think it's regional because if you think about it, if she had done New York, that's not a question. In New York, we know who Spice is. But like, and like, even if she'd done Miami, like, there are people in Miami who know who she is. But when they were like, oh, she's gonna be in Atlanta, I was like, that don't make sense. But the thing is Atlanta is a very concentrated African American community, and so when you have those spaces, like, I remember meeting people from Chicago who had never heard dancehall music before, and so when you have that regionality, when you have those places where it's very concentrated, like particular types of music, then they're sort of like, oh, we don't know what this is, and it's like, well, everybody else knows, and now we have to find a way for you to know.
Right.
Thank you for having us.
Hey.
DHQ. Work wide.